Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to be doing a declutter video. I've been watching so many of these as of recently. They are such addictive videos. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I am kind of sick right now, so I'm not really feeling makeup and wearing makeup. But I do need to declutter my eyeshadow collection, so I think I'm going to split this up into a few separate videos, like eyeshadows in one, foundations and concealers in another, blushes and bronzers in another, like that kind of thing. If you guys do enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and let's get on with it. So this is kind of odd. I've never really sat here and filmed a video before. Like usually, like my setup is here, and like this is like this is so weird. Okay, anyway. So, oh, I can't even see that. That was awkward. Here, wrong drawer. That's even more awkward. Okay. Okay, so here is basically my eyeshadow palette drawer. Now, she's a bit full. Alright, so don't mind my body and whatever here, but as you can fucking shut the fuck up. It's so hard being famous, I'm kidding. Alright, so here are all of my eyeshadows. I have a fuck ton of palettes here, as you can see, so I'm literally going to just go through all of these. And I do want to point out, whatever eyeshadow palettes I get rid of, they are going to be either donated to my family and friends or to a charity. So, yeah. Okay. So, the first palette we have here is ABH Soft Glam. I have used this a bunch of times. I feel like this is the one palette that I can take with me anywhere, on any trip, and I can literally do every single look that I could ever want to do with this. So I can never see myself throwing this out ever, so this is mine, thank you so much. Alright, so this BYS Peach palette, I have used quite a bit. I really do like this shade and this shade in the palette. They're really, really nice and pigmented, and even some of the shimmers are really, really gorgeous as well. I am going to be keeping this because I'm so bad at this. Fuck my life. Lashes in here. Let me just get rid of these. Okay, so the next palettes that we have here are the ColourPop and I Love Sadai Cheeky palette and Saucy. Let me open both of these up. So, these palettes are fucking gorge. These are the first ever eyeshadows that I tried from ColourPop, and honestly, these are absolutely amazing. So, if you haven't tried any ColourPop shadows, give these a go. I don't know if these are still available. I'm pretty sure they are. I will not be throwing these out because I still really, really like them. As you can see, they've been battered. Like, I've used these so much. So yeah, I'm keeping these for sure. Next up is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. I've only used this maybe once or twice. I really need to film a full look using this palette. The next one is by MAC. This is the Fashion Fanatic eyeshadow palette. Now, when I used this palette in an Instagram tutorial, the video went viral and it was kind of awkward because I got red to fill for it. But anyway, I'm definitely going to be giving this away, even though I've only used it a couple of times, because it is just not my cup of tea. As you can see, like these shades, go. Alright, so next is the BYS Berries palette. Now this is literally a dupe for the Modern Renaissance palette. Let me show you. Are you joking? BYS, Modern Renaissance, like it's crazy how similar they are. I am going to keep the BYS Berries palette because when I do videos using this palette, you guys seem to love it. So I'm definitely going to keep this one here and use it in some more videos for you guys, as well as Modern Renaissance. I'm keeping this. It's amazing, thank you so much. Next is the infamous Subculture. Now, I'm sure all of you know what happened with this fucking, oh hey, oh, cute double chin. What happened with this palette and why it is so famous on social media. I'm actually gonna keep this one because I found that I could actually make it work. It's not my favorite palette in the world. So here we have Anastasia Beverly Hills Prism. This is the palette that came after Subculture, but before Soft Glam. It was like the in-between. Definitely gonna be keeping this. I might end up giving it away eventually, but I'm keeping it mainly because collection. And I actually really do like these shades. This shade here is so cool. It is a little bit patchy. I really do like these more gold and bronze tones as well. So I am gonna be keeping this one. Next we have the Zoeva Matte I feel like I should frame this better. Hold on. Is that better? I think it's better. So here we have the Zoeva Matte Eyeshadow Palette, and this is a matte eyeshadow palette. Who fucking knew? I am gonna be giving this one away because I haven't used it in quite some time. The colors are stunning. Like, they are so pigmented, but it's just not a palette that I reach for because I have my other ones, so yeah. Next up is the Kat Von D Shade and Light Eye Palette. This is the first ever high-end eyeshadow palette that I bought from Sephora. And you can see clearly how much I have used this palette. I love it to death. The black is honestly the best black I've ever used in my entire life, and some of these shades are just staples to have in your collection, so I am keeping this. because I love it. Next we have the Nude Beach palette by The Balm. So I really liked using this, but it's not a palette that I go for just because I have so many other palettes. So I am probably going to be giving this one away. Alright, so here we have the Too Faced Mecca palette, and honestly this is a really pretty palette, but it is not my cup of tea. I don't like cool tones. I use this in a couple of videos, I'm pretty sure. This is not a palette that I will be keeping, so yeah, I do like the packaging though. I think it's really cute. Okay, let's take this mother out. So we have the NYX Beauty School Dropout Palette Kit, Face Kit, Life Kit, basically. It comes with literally everything you could ever want. And the reason why I've kept this for so long is because some of these eyeshadows are gorgeous, but I just don't reach for this because it is so big and bulky. Like, I think it's perfect for someone who maybe doesn't have a lot of makeup and can't afford it, and they just want one thing that they can bring with them that has everything. Like, this has blushes, bronzers, highlighters, eyeshadows. Like, it's amazing. It's just not something that I've picked up in quite a while, so I am going to be giving this one away. Next we have the Kat Von D Metal Crush Eyeshadow Palette. This is actually marketed as a highlighting palette, but I use these as eyeshadows because these are so like glittery and sparkly. They're beautiful on the eyes. I've used this one several times. I am going to be keeping this for sure because I don't have any pressed glitter formula eyeshadows like this. And yeah, it's just a beautiful palette. I feel like my knee is getting in the way. This is really annoying. So this next one is a MAC palette that I made myself. I actually took the insert out and threw in some other shadows. Like, I've got like some Illamasqua, some Sugar Pill shadows. So I am going to be keeping this palette because I always go back to these shades one way or another. Oh, fucking see ya. So yeah, I am going to be keeping this palette because I do reach for it quite often. Alright, this next one is the MAC x15 Warm Neutral palette. I've used this quite a few times, but I don't know if I'm going to keep it just because it's not a palette that I reach for. I think I might keep it for now, and maybe if I don't use it in like a few months time, then I definitely will give it away. And this next MAC palette is exactly that. This palette has like a lot of limited edition eyeshadows like Uninterrupted, which has now been discontinued. This silver I used to use all the freaking time. And this just has like some of my old school MAC eyeshadows like Soft Brown, Cranberry, Rule, is this Burnt Orange? No, Red Brick, fuck. I am going to be keeping this palette for nostalgia reasons. Thank you so much. Okay, here we have the OG of the game, the Too Faced Chocolate Bar Palette. I used to use this all the time when I was working at MAC, and it smells freaking amazing. I'm definitely gonna be keeping this because it is a staple in my collection. I can't not have it in my collection. I feel like my collection won't be whole without it, so keeping it. This next palette is a small little NARS palette, and actually now that I think of it, I think I bought this before I bought the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. So as you can see, yeah, this was my first ever high-end eyeshadow palette purchase, and this is literally all I could afford, guys. This was like $50, and I was like, oh my god, but it's NARS, I need it. So it's funny how times have changed, but I am definitely gonna be keeping this because this is like my first ever eyeshadow palette that I picked up from Mecca. So yeah. You guys are wondering where my trackies are from. They're from Cotton On. Thank you so much, sponsor me. The next palette that I have is from NARS. This is part of the Man Ray collection. And when you open it up, you have a ton of gorgeous colors. This palette did not work for me, but the packaging, like I literally would put this up in my bedroom as like decor, honestly. Okay, so this palette here, if you've worked at MAC before, if you know anything about working at MAC, you go to basic training. The basic training is like a week full of intense training, like 9 to 5 training the entire time. And at the end of it, they gave us these eyeshadow palettes. This is the Purple x9 palette that you can buy in store, but it just doesn't have the sticker on it, but they custom made them for us, and I thought it was really cute. For nostalgia reasons, I'm keeping, thank you. This NARS palette, on the other hand, this is part of the Man Ray collection as well. I'm not going to be keeping this. This palette is fucking boring, and I have never used it in my entire life. The packaging's cute, but not cute enough to keep. Goodbye. You guys know that I love and appreciate so much when brands send product, but not every product is for everyone. That's just the truth. So this palette here, you guys, is like my everyday neutral palette. I am never throwing this out. I'm keeping this. I still use it, actually. I use like Nylon, Retrospec, and Arena, and Expensive Pink, and Sable, and I use these shades all the freaking time. It's in a Z palette, so maybe like don't buy Z palettes, they're cunts. But yeah, so I'm gonna be keeping this palette because I'd still use this on a daily basis. It's such a good travel palette as well. So yes. Next is a Makeup Geek eyeshadow palette. I do not even own like the Manny palette or like any other palette that they've come out with, but they did send me these eyeshadows to use, and I have used them, and they are super freaking pigmented, as you can see. But if I'm honest, these are just not shades that I reach for. I'm probably gonna be giving away this palette just because these colors don't really work for me anymore, so Yes. Alright, the next one is the Urban Decay Electric Palette. My god. When this first came out in Australia, everyone was fucking fisting themselves over this palette, and I was like, alright, I guess I gotta get it. And I've used it quite a few times, as you can see, like the silver's really good. I like these green shades. It's not a palette that I reach for. The pink fucking stains the fuck out of your eyelids. So it is a really, really good palette. However, these aren't eyeshadows. These are basically just pure pigments. So yeah, like it's a pretty cute palette. Am I gonna keep it? I don't know. I don't know. No, I'm throwing it out. Okay, so this is officially the first ever eyeshadow palette I ever owned. Eyeshadow palette from Paintbox Cosmetics. And as you can see, I've like used and abused a lot of these shades. I've hit pan on so many of them, and I've even taken some out because they were running low. Once again, I don't think I could ever throw this palette out because it is my first ever eyeshadow palette that I owned. So yes, I'll be keeping this. All right, this next one I'm definitely getting rid of. I can't even remember having this. This is the Sigma Warm Neutrals palette. And these colors are gorgeous. As you can see, like really, really pretty neutral shades and everyday shades, and you can even smoke it up at night, but I don't use it because I got 48 fucking thousand other eyeshadow palettes. Getting rid of it. So this is the 35B palette, and I use this in a lot of looks, especially like these blue and green tones. I love them, so I will not be giving this away because I do use it quite a lot and I love it so much. So yes, keeping that. The next one that I have here is the 35O, the original, the OG of the game. I haven't used this as much because I got my hands on this pretty late. I feel like they could have 3 of these browns rather than 15 of these browns and you get the exact same look. So I don't know, it's not a palette that I reach for often, but it is definitely one that I'm going to be keeping in my collection because collection. Next we have the 35F palette. So here is what it looks like here. I really, really like that the first 4 rows are all shimmers and then the entire bottom row are all mattes. I love that. I think I'm going to keep this one just because I don't have many of like these really odd kind of golden bronzy shades, and they're super, super pigmented as well. But most of them have like a green undertone and I don't really have many of those shades. It's kind of like a forest palette, I like to think of it. Oh my god, I have another fucking palette here. So this is a Zoeva Cool Spectrum eyeshadow palette. I've used this a few times. These colors are super freaking pigmented. Like, guys, I'm not even gonna put that much pressure on at all. Are you fucking joking? Like, even this shade, like ridiculous pigmentation. They are so pigmented. I'm not gonna be keeping this just because I haven't used it in maybe 3 years. Like it's ridiculous. All right, more Morphe. I've got the 35OS palette, which is the all, oh fuck me. So this is the 35OS palette, which is an all shimmer palette basically. I don't even think I've touched this palette. I can't even see a swatch mark in any of these shades. So I'm probably gonna get rid of this if I'm honest, because I already have most of these shades in other palettes and in other glitters and pigments and stuff like that anyway, so I'm probably gonna give this one away. Next one is the 35OM, the all matte palette. You can't go wrong with an all matte palette, but this is not for me just because I already have so many of these shades in other palettes. Don't need it, gonna get rid of it. Yeah. The next one is the Morphe 35R palette. Oh, I forgot about this one. Okay, once again, never been touched either. I'm probably gonna be giving this one to some family and friends as well, just because I'm not using this. Clearly, I haven't touched it in like a year that I've had it, so I am gonna be getting rid of it. Now, guys, I do wanna point out that a lot of the Morphe stuff that I have has been sent to me. Morphe was so kind to add me onto their PR list quite a while back. I don't even know if I'm still on their PR list because like I didn't get the Bretman collab, but whatever. Honestly, there are no hard feelings, like I really don't care. But yeah, a lot of this stuff I haven't gotten around to using just because there is so much stuff coming out constantly that I gotta keep up with what is new. And unfortunately, this one has been left behind a little bit. So I'm gonna give it to someone who will actually use it and value it. Next Morphe palette is the 35K. And this, oh, what happened there? Fuck. So this is obviously a more cool tone eyeshadow palette. I actually know someone who would absolutely fucking love this. So I'm just gonna give it straight to them. I'm not gonna keep this one. Once again, I haven't used any of these shades. I haven't even swatched any of these shades. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but oh well. Last Morphe palette. This is the 35N palette. This is the first ever Morphe palette that I bought and that I owned. It is an all matte eyeshadow palette. Once again, I am going to be giving this one away just because I don't use it. It's been so long since I've used it. And I feel like it'll just be going to waste if it sits here and doesn't get used. So yes. This next palette is my Inglot palette that I made up myself with the Freedom System. And I will of course be keeping this because I still use this shade up here all the time. I use some of these ones down here as well. And I spent so much fucking money on making this, so I am definitely gonna be keeping this. Okay, so now let's try and organize all of the shit back in. that one there, and that is literally it. Damn, I cleaned out. Alright. Don't mind all this shit back here, that's just not even part of the video. So I know that this video and this outro is super random, but I did want to film this because I need to film something and I couldn't be fucked wearing makeup because I'm not feeling it right now. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I can't wait to see you all in the next video, and yeah, bye.